Good afternoon, cult members, and welcome to Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is going to be a trailer reaction for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Because Guy Ritchie has to make it very difficult.
Not the longest title ever.
Not the longest title ever,
close.
but Guy Ritchie. And so, here we go, and go.
Trailer before the trailer.
Is this Sony? The most epic mustache ever.
I have a mission. I want you to lead. Thank you, sir. What's the plan? Neutralize the German U-boats in the North Atlantic.
We're losing the war.
Loosely based.
We're not playing by the rules, so neither are we.
Shocking.
We both know that I'm not very popular with
I'm gonna pull out the most expensive one.
If I'm to do this, I'll need my own team. You won't like them. They're all mad. They'll need to be.
Perfect. And Cherry Bruckheimer. This is not the team I thought I was going to see this year.
If we fail,
Nice.
England will be condemned to a lifetime under the German boot.
Aim.
And so I said, that is not a dog, that is my wife!
Very good. You and your operation are reckless.
True.
Abort this mission now.
A bow? Alright.
Hey.
Can't hear you. Please do.
Going through a tunnel.
Oh yeah, Henry Golding is in this too.
I was gonna say, did I miss him?
There's a lot of like, I think he's the one with the epic mustache.
Oh.
I think.
Okay.
The way little behind the curtains for us. When we record, she's the only one who can actually see the TV fully. I have the camera and the ring light in front of me, so there's a lot of me doing this sometimes. So I miss a lot of stuff. But the picture of Henry and his tongue
I know.
have been all over the
All
place.
over.
And we try to keep it PG-13 ish around here. There'll be some very happy people around the country and the world today, this evening, and tonight, spending some time with that photo. Guy Ritchie. That's it.
Yeah.
We talked about this with The Gentleman, the series that's coming to Netflix. That is a continuation of The Gentleman movie. With Matthew McConaughey and Charlie Hunnam and all them. And that guy is one of our favorite people, like from one of our favorite directors to watch. And this is very much a stylized historical fiction.
Right.
But I'm totally okay with that.
Right. I am sure that there are people out there that'll go, well, the last time he did this with the Excalibur story, which isn't really true, but everybody knows the story didn't go over well, and
we liked it.
We liked it.
We liked it a lot.
We weren't there for a historical reenactment of the King Arthur story. We were there for the fun of it. Now, the first time, was that the one that the guy talked through? No, that was the other.
No, that was the other one.
King Arthur movie.
The one with Taron Egerton and Jamie Foxx. That one just didn't work.
It just wasn't good. But yeah, and the first time I think we watched it, we were like, huh, oh, okay. And then we've watched it several times since, and we're like, yeah, I can throw this on and watch it. And
we talked about this yesterday with the Ghost. What is it called? Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire, because the names have become difficult. that we're there for the popcorn shoving in our mouth fun of it and stuff like that. And this is very much along that line of I get to see Henry Cavill, Henry Golding, Henry Allen Richardson, all Henry Carey Els,
Henry.
just kicking ass in World War II.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, one of the things I did think about today is something that I'm butting up against as a person who is into history is World War II is a highly important thing for our planet. Hugely important about everybody was involved. And there's tons of different stories to tell in that genre about that time period. And I butted up against the idea of doing another World War II movie.
Yeah.
Or another World War II story, because we're doing the boys in the air, the Band of Brothers about the bombing raids and stuff like that on Apple Plus, which again looks amazing. We're going to watch it whenever we finish C. But I'm butting up against the idea of telling another World War II story.
Yeah, and I get that 100%. I think that now, in today's time, we can actually tell. Now, this is not what this movie is, but we can actually tell some more true to life stories about what happened. There's a lot of, which is the Apple Plus show is more about like the Black Squadron that was in World War II that you never heard about until recently they started talking about these kinds of stories, and
Tusken Raiders and all that.
The code breakers and in the 40s when the war was going on, and then in the 50s, everybody they wanted it to be John Wayne kicking butt and saving the girl, and all the guys come home and their wives are happy and they're happy and they make a million babies and the life is. And now we're like, war is not like that, and being able to tell some more stories. So I think there is an opportunity, but I 100%. We've talked about this before. Let's tell some World War I stories. Let's tell some
One of the reasons
Korean War stories.
One of the reasons I loved 1917 was because it was a very different view of warfare than we had before. Now, I will also say that with this, again, a stylized version of what the historical story is, but it's coming from the English point of view, and it's not necessarily coming from the American point of view.
Yes, which is another
thing that we haven't spent a lot of time as Americans learning about those stories that happened in World War II,
like Dunkirk, and the whole story around Dunkirk. I had never heard of before, and it was amazing.
Taught that here. We're not taught that here, and we know a little bit about Churchill here, just because our American classes they talked about Roosevelt, Churchill. And Stalin all working together, and showing the photos, and all they talk about is how badass Roosevelt was because he couldn't really necessarily walk, and Churchill gave really cool speeches, and we don't talk about Stalin. Right. That's how the American classes were. But having a World War II story from a different point of view than the American point of view, and then you do the Matthew Vaughn, Guy Ritchie stylized, hey, we're going to teach you about something that actually really happened.
Right.
And I talk about
you're going to have fun while it's going on. And
and then you're probably going to learn something.
Yeah.
Now, not everybody's going to go learn about this group and who they did, what they did, and how they did, but some of us will.
Yeah.
And I point this out a lot with Star Wars. Star Wars teaches the lessons that need to be taught to 12-year-olds about fascism and corporate greed and oppressing the small guy and not being inclusive and all that stuff. But they wrap it up in laser swords and spaceships and space wizards and all that kind of stuff. So I'm cool at telling that X-Men do the same thing. The X-Men stories is an allegory for racial tension and LGBTQ representation and all of that stuff just wrapped up in superheroes.
Yep.
And so you get that kind of thing here. I love this idea. I love that we're going to have time with this. And one last thing. Henry Cavill getting the chance to just go nuts.
Yeah.
To show a completely different side of himself that we
that'll be
really,
fun.
really haven't seen yet.
Yeah. I think that's kind of become a little bit of a niche for Guy Ritchie, is allowing people like Charlie Hunnam as this, he's the fixer. He's the guy that will get it done for Matthew McConaughey's character, but he's also like cooking Wagyu steaks on his, and drinking, expensive scotch and dressed nicely and
good at his house.
So, it's fun to have directors who can let some of these characters that tend to get a little typecast because of their previous
work, and they see Henry, he's a big dude, and so we got to put him in a big, like, I loved him in Dead Reckoning, but he was very one note through that whole time because Locke is very one note.
Yeah.
Here, him just going nuts, and that just the laugh scene of him laughing at the German joke is so awesome, and that shows that he can do a bunch of different things, which makes me excited for things that are coming up, Warhammer and Highlander. So let us know what you thought of this trailer and our reaction to it in the comments down below. Please be nice. That is a requirement around here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. It's free and it helps us out. And follow us on all the social media stuff, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. It's linked in the description down below. And until next time, cult members, good afternoon, good evening, and good night now.